Good morning, cult members, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
Happy MLK Day.
Yay, MLK Day.
A very important person in the history of the United States who fought very hard for civil rights and to give us a day off.
And also our baby girl's birthday.
And a baby girl's birthday. I want you to tell me in the comments, Martin Luther King had I Have a Dream speech. Tell me what your dream is for this year. Okay. We ask that you subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the bell for notifications. Sign up for our Patreon. We just did our Patreon videos, movies this weekend, and we just filmed our second review for what we watched this weekend.
Yeah.
We won't tell you what it is. You have to pay $1 a month to go see.
So 2 reviews are up there already for.
Yeah.
Basically, we're gonna do 2
a month.
A month.
Yeah. And we'll throw some other things in there as we
right.
go along.
So if you're a $5 patron, you get to tell us what movie to watch, and we have to watch it. With some exceptions. We refuse to do The Road. We did that once. That's 2 hours we're never getting back of our life. And, you got to keep it reasonably clean. But, and then if you're a $2.50.
Debbie Dallas is on the list. We might have to just do it. It was in the movie theater. It went to a regular movie theater. So that kind of is the.
No. A lot of those went to movie theaters.
Okay, whatever.
And then if you're a $2.50 or a $5, you get to vote on. We'll put 2 or 3 movies up a month, and you can vote on which one you want us to watch.
I was gonna do a sci-fi theme this month, but our one of our $5 patrons already gave us a sci-fi movie to do next month, so I'm gonna have to sit down and look at our list and see what we have to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see. But please sign up for Patreon. It helps us immensely. Advertising and all that poo. We want to talk about the big thing that happened this weekend. If you read the internets, and that is Glass came out. We went and saw it on Thursday. Spoilers, we really loved it. We have a review. It's not a. We have a review, a non-spoiler review of Glass that we did. I will add it somewhere in this section. It will come up on the top line. But it had a $40.5 million domestic opening and a $48.5 million additional worldwide for $89 million in the third week of January.
Ha! All you haters out there that said it was a horrible movie, and we came home and did a review and then started looking, and everybody was like, and we're like, huh.
A lot of critics panned this movie. It is 36% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics, which I just don't get. Good. I'm trying not to get angry.
So here's what happened. Critics don't go watch previous movies. We talked about this. They're not going to go watch Unbreakable. They're not going to go watch Split. If they watched them at all when they first came out, that was Unbreakable was what, 10 years ago?
15
years ago, and Split was 2 years ago, right? So a lot of this movie, and M. Night Shyamalan has always done this. He's like Stephen King. He can tell a story that the general audience is going to get, but he loves to put those little nuggets in there for the people who have been there the whole time. And so if you go watch those 2 again, you'll appreciate so much more of the fine details in this movie.
You know that the critics are probably wrong in this particular instance when the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 79%. And Cinema Score, which they're the ones who do the as you walk out of the theater.
Oh, they ask
audience,
you.
Audience questions, questionnaires. The Cinema Score is a B, and although I think the B is a little low, but for overall the audience score, a B and 80% almost is it seems about right. And
it cost them $20 million to
make. $20 million to make. They probably spent another 25 to 30 on advertising. So they've made back their budget already. And now with the talk online about people taking either it's a travesty or it's amazing. There is no in between at all.
Right.
It should have legs, especially since there's not really anything coming out until Alita comes out in February.
Right. Yeah.
So it's going to have a little bit of legs.
And M. Night talked about this is the end of this story arc.
Right.
The David Dunn,
Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass. That story arc. But that doesn't mean that the universe can't. They could do other things within that universe.
Yeah.
Give you a couple Easter eggs into this storyline that make you go, oh yeah, I remember that.
At some point in time, we might sit down this week and just do what we would like to see in this universe going forward kind of thing, like a speculation video, maybe like 10, 15 minutes of talking, because there's a ton that happens. It have to be a spoiler talk, but there's a ton that happens in this movie that allows you to have an MCU level, Star Wars level expansion of this universe of superheroes grounded in real life. And I just think that would be just a cool, not even having Shyamalan do it, just other creators who want to come in and do stuff.
He could be like the Kevin Feige.
Right.
Making
that would be
sure
kind
that's
of cool. We're going to have the conversation right now, apparently.
Okay, moving on.
We did watch 2 other movies this weekend. Last week, actually, we went on Tuesday to see On the Basis of Sex.
I think we went Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
We went and saw On the Basis of Sex. It's the Ruth Bader Ginsburg biopic starring Felicia Jones and Armie Hammer.
Yep.
And Justin Trudeau.
Yep.
And it is about her life from law school all the way up to, it's spoilers, Supreme Court justice.
Well,
and then wrapped in bubble wrap to make sure she doesn't fall apart for the next 2 years.
It doesn't really go up to the Supreme Court justice, but it goes to her first 11th Circuit Court arguments.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to punch Justin Trudeau's character in the face more than once. I mean, he was like, he was her friend and he was there, but he was also a jerk.
Yeah, he was the head attorney for the ACLU at that point in time, whose name I cannot remember right now, the gentleman's real name, but he was the one who, for the most part, didn't want to take on the case that they were fighting, but when they did decide to take the case, he was the one who was the bad guy in trying to what the judges were going to ask and enforce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, but his performance was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I just thought that I really like Felicia Jones. She was really good in this role. Armie Hammer's really good in this role, and his role what was his first name?
Warren Ginsburg?
Something like that. But when it comes down to it, a legal drama can be very dry and hard to keep you focused on the movie at times.
Yeah.
It's well done. It's well shot. The clothing is amazing because it's the 60s and the 70s, and they make legal jargon pretty easy to understand.
Yeah, they didn't get sucked down into the legal jargon.
But is a legal drama, and legal drama works really well in 45-minute segments on Law and Order on TV.
Yeah.
But a 2-hour biopic legal drama kind of gets dryish.
I didn't think it was dry. I didn't think it was dry at all. I kind of felt the opposite. I think that the last, so the end of the movie is the case in front of the 11th Circuit Court, and I felt that was a little over dramatic. I mean, there's a lot that I'm sure they took license with in the story to make it. People's day-to-day lives are not generally interesting. The story, the outcome, the overall story is interesting, but day-to-day lives typically aren't, and so I'm sure they took a lot of license with that. And that trial, I don't think it was really a trial because it's just the judges and the attorneys.
It's the appeal, case. It was appellant case. Court. They were appealing the decision from the Colorado Supreme Court.
Right.
And they went to the Ninth Circuit Court to
11th
Circuit Court. It's Ninth here.
Ninth here, yeah.
But yeah,
that was a little drama-y. There was, tension and tears, and that was, I felt that was a little drama-y, but other than that, I really liked it.
I was just okay with it. I'm not upset we saw it. I thought it was I was cool to see that story, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that I don't like that kind of storytelling. We walked out and I was like, okay, that was cool. It was cool.
Yeah,
and it was just whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't a world beater or anything, but
yeah.
I thought it was
score
3.
I'm at 2.75,
Okay.
just a little bit less. It's again, I'm glad we saw it. I would probably, if it popped on, I would probably watch a little bit of it, especially for certain scenes and stuff. But I just, it's just a thing. The other one that we saw this weekend is we finally got around to seeing the Bad Times Out Royale. Now, this was one of the movies that we were super excited about seeing. However, it just fell through the cracks because there was a billion things going on when it came out. I'm going to say it this way, and it's going to sound negative, but it's not meant to be. I'm glad we missed it, because it was just, it just didn't hit for me.
Yeah. It was okay. It was one of those, almost reminds me of a couple of the Stephen King movies that they made into, the books that they made into movies. Like, there's all this build-up, and then the big finale, you're kind of like...
Kind of feels left... Yeah. Maybe that's what it was. I liked the build-up. I liked all the characters.
Yeah.
I liked the 4 rooms aspect, feel to it. The very Quentin Tarantino-ish, too, at times, with the way it's shot with color and lighting and telling the same story from different angles. And I liked that process. But the big climactic battle royale at the end just kind of seemed anticlimactic.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right.
and I'm not even upset with the way it ended. Like, I'm okay how the outcome was. I just
at the very end,
I was just okay with
what
the way,
happened.
I was just okay with that.
Because I don't want to spoil it, but what happened was what should have happened. Let's put it that way.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. It was just a thing. It was
we rented it for free. We got a thing through Roku or whatever for Voodoo for a credit or whatever. So we rented it for free, and
Chris
would have rented it on Redbox.
It's actually worth watching for Chris Helmsworth, creepy cult leader guy.
Oh yeah,
it's worth it just for that.
Yeah.
And the little girl, there's a little girl in it, and she's the girl from Pacific Rim Uprising, who is actually one of the reasons I liked Pacific Rim Uprising was her performance. The story overall of that movie was chaotic at best, but she's really cool in it.
Yeah.
And she's really good in this.
I liked Dakota Johnson's character, a little different. We haven't seen her in a ton. So her character was different. Jeff
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. I wanted to say Goldblum.
I know you wanted to.
Jeff Bridges played Jeff Bridges. He played the dude.
Yeah.
In a priest costume.
Yeah. It's all the performance is really good. I love the storytelling aspect. I just think if the climax is a little bit better, and now this is one of those movies though that was on a lot of people's top 10, top 5 list at the end of the year.
Really?
Because of those storytelling process.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just missing the climax and everything that happens at the end. Maybe I'm just missing that part, but it all this build up and a kind of a deflated end.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it is.
That's kind of what I felt too. But
score for me is probably 2.5.
2.75 because of all the
what is wrong with us
storytelling stuff.
What is wrong with us? Usually I'm the one that's a little higher on the scores than you. What's going on there? We had 2 trailer reactions last week. We had Spider-Man Far From Home. Looks amazing.
Of course.
Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio.
I had to go back and rewatch it like 3 times before I was like, oh my God, it is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, and he looks like Mysterio from the comic with the fishbowl. It's amazing. Yeah. That looks really good. I will add that to the end of this episode. We also did John Wick Chapter 3 called Parabellum. I also did that trailer reaction. I will add that to the end of this trailer.
Also looks amazing.
Movie also looks amazing. I'm just going to put it this way. Puppy team up. That's all I'm going to say.
Puppy power.
There was a trailer that dropped yesterday during the NFL championship weekend for Shazam with all new footage in it. We did not watch it because I'm done. I've seen everything I need to see from this. I've been watching stuff for this movie since San Diego Comic-Con last July. I'm done watching stuff. So if you're looking for a trailer reaction for that, we're terrible YouTube hosts.
I don't want to do another one for Captain Marvel either.
I don't either. We've already got our Captain Marvel passes, and I'm just waiting for Shazam to come open so we can get those and then go. It's out there. Go see it. Good on you. The camera's up here. We got a camera, and it's not in where it normally is. I need to stop touching things. So the last thing we're going to talk about is some interesting Edgar Wright news that came out, I guess, this morning. I found it on Screen Rant, and then Cinnamon Blend had a conversation about it. He did an interview with Empire, I believe. Let me see if I can find it. It's not in my notes. I believe it was Empire. About just he hasn't really done anything since Baby Driver, and he's been working on a couple different things. And it looks like his next movie is going to be a psychological horror thriller. Inspired by the classics Don't Look Now and Repulsion. So, interesting kind of turn for Edgar Wright to do a Jordan Peele-esque, you can say that now, psychological horror movie. And I'm totally cool with that. I'm cool with him exercising that muscle. He's got the other version, the other comedy things, the Cornello trilogy, killed it with Baby Driver. Probably one of our favorite directors on the planet, and he does probably my all-time favorite movie, which is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Right. He's one of our favorite, but there's only like a handful of his movies out there. You're like, we need more.
He's very much like Quentin Tarantino, where he works 3-4 years on one project, and then does that one project and then works on and moves on.
I think until Baby Driver, he was seriously underappreciated too.
1000%.
He potentially had an opportunity with Ant-Man to kind of break out of that, and then things fell through. Honestly, I think for the better on both sides, because that freed him up to go do Baby Driver. And he's even
said that too.
Yeah,
he's even said, I wanted to do Ant-Man this way, and it wasn't right. And so we split ways, and everybody was happy with it.
Yeah, he went and made Baby Driver, and Ant-Man was fine, and so, but I'm hoping now that he's a little more seen out there in Hollywood as somebody who can do some stuff. He
apparently has plenty on his plate. He has written the first script, the first treatment for Baby Driver 2, which should be very interesting. He also wants to do a movie based on the novel Grasshopper Jungle, which I've never heard of before, so I have no idea. And then he's working on this mysterious, smart, and scary film called Collider. I'm sure Collider.com is like, well, we have the rights to the Collider.com, so
they'll run it through the film studio. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they'll do something. But both of those have a very interesting. Grasshopper Jungle, I have no whatever, but a scary, smart movie kind of thing with Edgar Wright's kind of styling and everything.
Yeah.
But this psychological drama that he's working on is set in London. It will feature a female lead. Wright wrote the tentatively untitled script with Christy Wilson Cairns, who did stuff for Penny Dreadful, and he told Empire. See, I told you it was Empire. I realize I have never made a film about central London, specifically Soho. somewhere I've spent a huge amount of my time in the last 25 years. So a psychological horror film set in Soho, co-written by the lady who did stuff for Penny Dreadful and Edgar Wrights filming style and all kinds of poo.
I wonder if it'll be a period piece then, because Penny Dreadful is a period piece and it's in London.
Like 60s Soho?
No, period.
Like
1800s, like Penny Dreadful time.
That would be interesting. I would like to see him do a kind of a period set.
Yeah, I mean,
thing. He really hasn't done that.
He's
dealt with genre before in other movies. He's done the horror with Shaun of the Dead and video game movies with Scott Pilgrim and the cop dramas and stuff like that. So that would be kind of cool. That would be
horror thriller. So it could be kind of
go ahead.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if it's 1800s and it's Penny Dreadful, you need to have Tom Hardy in it, right? Because that's kind of his wheelhouse right now in movies or TV shows. Because he was on Penny Dreadful, and
he was not on Penny Dreadful. Tom Hardy was not.
No, Taboo. He did something else that was that time period. Anyways,
well, he's in Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. That's the one I was thinking instead of Penny Dreadful. So he's got that. That look would be perfect.
He's a little busy, but maybe he'll have time by then.
Venom 2 Carnage is going to happen.
Taboo second season.
That was our TV talk thing, which you can find on this channel. And the only other thing that I want to mention is tomorrow morning the Oscars drop. We were going to do an Oscars thing today, but they've decided that they're going to do it on Tuesday instead of Monday. Why? I don't understand why.
Because MLK Day.
Because of MLK Day. Okay, that makes sense. We will try to do something where we do like a quick rundown of some of the big ones, best picture, actor, kind of thing, whatever. I'm not going to ask for surprises or anything like that, but if Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse does not win Best Animated Movie, there will be riots in the streets.
Yes.
Because if Isle of Dogs gets it, there will be absolutely riots in the streets.
Isle of Dogs is supposed to be good. I think it's on HBO. I think it's HBO.
So that's our show this week, The Big Show, episode 91. What did you guys think? Are you excited about Edgar Wright doing a horror film? Like a proper on psychological horror film. Let us know. Have you seen Basis of Sex, Bad Times Out Royale? Have you seen Glass? All that kind of stuff. Let us know. Leave us a comment down below. Like this video. And like we've already asked you, please subscribe to the channel. Share with all of your friends. We are 2 away from 450.
Woohoo!
So we're trying really hard there. And we're going to start doing a bigger push on our social media stuff. So please like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on Instagram. All of those links are in the description down below.
Patreon.
So
make us do stuff.
Help us do some more advertising so we can bring more people into Patreon. It's a vicious circle of life. Until next time, good morning, cult members.